The American Dream by Richard Nesky and Sayin O. America, the land of opportunity, is well known for one of its popular ideals, the American dream. As the dream of a land in which life should be better and richer and fuller for everyone, the American dream serves as a ray of hope for those seeking to rise from rags to riches. The American dream's promise of equality resonates with the U.S. government, finding its way in its principal policies, such as a section in the Constitution which reads, "No title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of the Congress, accept of any present, emolument, office, or title, of any kind whatsoever, from any king, prince, or foreign state." Advocating a successful life to those who work hard, the American dream has become one of the defining ideals of the United States, a country known for seeking freedom and justice for all. Today, we will be watching an ordinary blue-collar worker, John, seeking to earn a decent living through persistence and effort, inspired by the prospect of the American dream. Here, we can see John, full of hope, determined to earn enough money so that he could live comfortably and never experience hunger again. Originally a factory worker, John had to explore new business opportunities when the factory was shut down. John looks for various jobs that would allow him to make a decent living. His eyes rest on a group of words near the corner of the newspaper, which reads, "Now hiring, electrical engineer." It was always his dream to be an engineer, and since they made a good amount of money, John thought it was the perfect job for him. After carefully reviewing the application form, John enthusiastically applies for the job. A few weeks later, he receives a letter. He was denied due to no official experience or study in the field. If the company actually hired him, they would have made a huge profit, as John was an expert in engineering, but his skills were invalidated due to poor performance in unrelated subjects during high school, which prevented him from passing. Additionally, John had no money available for projects of any kind, so he was unable to demonstrate his engineering finesse with feats unrelated to school. He did not give up, though, and applied for an online college course. He filed for a loan and went into debt in exchange for a recognition of his schooling. He knew that he had to get the job, as it was his only way to recover from the money and time invested into the course. A good college education, especially one well recognized by employers, is very expensive, so it is a huge risk for those who aren't wealthy. After 4 years of immense study, John finally received a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. He applied again and waited for a response. Unfortunately, John was denied once again. The job was taken in favor of a student who graduated from Harvard with a 4-year degree in electrical engineering. He couldn't believe it. He spent 4 years of his life, risking the majority of his wealth, but was denied, and now he had nowhere to go. Since John failed to be hired as an electrical engineer, he was unable to pay off the loan that he had taken to pay for college, causing him to accumulate a large amount of debt. Fatality. At this point, the original luster of the American dream was starting to fade for John, who no longer felt freedom in this homeland of the free. John was certainly disheartened by the ordeal, but he was still determined to earn money somehow. He applied for a minimum wage job at the local gas station and slowly earned money by working as a cashier. However, the money he earned was barely enough to put food on his plate, and when it was time to pay rent for the apartment, his pockets were empty. Due to the unpaid debt from his college education, John's credit rating plummeted, making it even harder for him to pay off his debt. John lost his home and the majority of his belongings, but continued to slave on, trapped in an endless cycle of debt, hoping to be saved by the American dream. Day by day, John found it increasingly difficult to buy the most basic of necessities and had to forego even the simplest luxuries, such as clothing and grooming. As his appearance deteriorated, John came to the realization that he was no longer in any condition to apply for a job of any sort. As time passed, John had less and less cash for food, and slowly realized that he could no longer afford to keep himself fed. Dejected, John spent the rest of his days lazing away in a dark alleyway, fully aware of his imminent, inevitable fate. John is only one of many Americans today that have been denied the chance to show their effort and receive the fairness implied by the American dream. Instead, we now favor people from the most prestigious schools and the rich who can afford good colleges, rather than giving everyone a chance. The amount of available jobs is in the decline, with 6 million fewer people employed than in December 2007, and jobless rates exceeding the depression level of 20%. With the absence of available jobs, people like John have a minimal chance of even being accepted into a well-paying career, let alone one suited for their skills. Those with access to better education often move forward at the expense of others who aren't as fortunate. At one point, the American dream may have served as an important aspect of United States culture, but now it is simply a callously advertised ideal foisted upon us by the corporate media, cleverly disguised as our own dreams. This is the truth of what has become of the American dream.